Welcome back to Feel the Sting. Today's guest is Justin Beach, Director of Financial Aid here at MSUB. So if you've ever applied for scholarships, filled out the FAFSA, or just wondered how anyone pays for college, his team is behind the scenes making it happen. Justin and the Financial Aid Office aren't just about forms and deadlines. They're here to help students focus on school by keeping college within reach. So we're putting him in the hot seat today to talk financial tips, student support, and maybe even a few movie references. So welcome, Justin.
Thank you.
So to get us started off, before we dive into our wings, what can you just kind of tell us about financial aid here at MSUB?
So financial aid, our office really tries to work with students to help them afford their education. So we do things from helping students with FAFSA applications, scholarship applications, when those FAFSAs come in, processing grants, determining eligibility for aid, and then helping students along the way, stay in school and find out different resources and ways to afford their education.
Alrighty, as we enjoy our first wing today, I know you touched on it lightly, but what is the role of a financial aid office, not just at MSUB, but just in general for a college student, and how do financial aid offices help support students throughout their college journey?
Yeah, so financial aid is really the first place you want to start when looking at trying to fund your education. They're going to provide you help with the FAFSA application, which is access to all the federal type of aid that we have. And that application is also used in a lot of scholarship applications. So each institution will typically have a scholarship application. And a lot of times the FAFSA is needed to process those scholarships. So that really helps in that area of receiving scholarships. It's also great to fill out the FAFSA application because it really helps in that process. And then just throughout the life of a student at the institution, the financial aid office can just help along the way each year, just making sure that they can afford their next semester, their next year, and then even towards getting to graduation, making sure that they have enough aid to finish, and just always reaching out to the financial aid office for different situations. If they need additional aid, reach out to the financial aid office, see if there's anything available. Something changes in their situation, reach out to the financial aid office and stay in communication with them.
Perfect. Well, let's go ahead and dig into our first of the wings. I don't normally eat wings in public. Let's go a little bite at the end. Yeah, I think, I grew up in a house that utilized financial aid when we were going to school, and that was something that was driven into us very early, was fill it out, you don't know what you're gonna get. Fill it out, you don't know what you're gonna get. And I think there's so many different ways that we can pay for college, and that kind of leads us into our second question and our second wing. What are some of the different types of financial aid that are available to students when they're looking at paying for college?
There are several different types. When you look at federal aid, you have need-based aid, which might be such as a Pell Grant, SEOG grant. Then there's also loans or self-help aid, so your federal loans you have to pay back. And then there's broken down into subsidized or unsubsidized loan, which is whether the interest accrues on the loan or not. Those are, need-based and non-need-based. There's federal work study that's available to students, which essentially is you can work on campus and earn a paycheck, and you can use that to help pay for your education or your living expenses. That's a type of federal aid that's administered. And then there's scholarships, which are gift aid, and those really depend on what the scholarship is and what type the scholarship has been set up for. It can be a need-based scholarship, meaning that the student needs to have some type of need to receive it. It could be a merit-based scholarship based on your GPA from high school or your current institutional GPA. So those are the kind of the main types of, and then there's private loans. Some people choose to take out private loans as opposed to federal loans. Those are also an option for some students.
So when a student fills out the FAFSA, kind of how does that get to you guys, and how do you get it to the students?
Yeah, so the student goes on to studentaid.gov and they set up their account, and then they access the FAFSA application, and they include our school code on there. And once any school they want to go to, they'll include the school code. And then once it's processed by the Department of Education, which takes a day or two, then it's transmitted to the mailbox for the institution to pull down and then import into our system to basically utilize all their information to establish what type of aid they would be eligible for.
How long does it take them to fill out the FAFSA right now?
Right now, it's actually pretty intuitive. They've made some leaps these last couple years to make it pretty intuitive. I mean, you can really fill it out in about 30 minutes.
Wow, okay.
For the student, and then if the student has to invite what they call contributors, which is the parents or whatever, to log in and finish their portion. But it has gotten, much better as far as being effective and efficient.
Yeah, for 30 minutes, you could realistically have some cost of attendance just taken care of and not even have to think about it, which is great. All right, as we dive into Wing 3, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk more about scholarships with you. So what are some tips for students maybe filling out the MSUB scholarship application, but also other scholarship applications out there?
Take a bite
Sure,
first?
we'll go for it.
Let's try it first.
We've got some more vinegar in it.
It's a little different. Yeah, scholarships. So I've hit it on it a couple times already, but number one, I would fill out the FAFSA application, just because a lot of scholarships do require that information.
Okay.
Based on the criteria of the scholarship. Like I was saying, it might be a need-based scholarship, which need is something that after your FAFSA comes in, they determine how much your student aid index is, which is kind of what the school thinks your level of your economic strength and how much you might be able to contribute. And then the cost of attendance, and then that kind of is left with need. And so a lot of scholarships want to know, does the student really have need and need a scholarship?
Yeah.
So that's an important one, is just filling out the FAFSA application. And then filling out the scholarship application itself, number one. Usually scholarship applications open up around November for most institutions. And then you'll want to jump on and get in that priority pool. Usually scholarship applications are open between, like I said, November to March, April time. And then that's kind of the priority pool, right? So you want to get in there early and get in there as fast as you can. And get that done. You want to be sure and reach out to your references. So a lot of scholarship applications ask for references. So you'll want to, be sure and communicate with your references so that they know they're going to receive a communication or an email from a school to write a reference letter with them. Really start a student statement, like why is a scholarship important to you? What are you planning on doing moving forward with your future? How important is it for you to be able to afford your education? So kind of have those statements already developed, and then you can really just use them in multiple scholarship scenarios and change it, tweak it to what is specific for the scholarship. Our scholarship application is really nice in the sense that the majority of our scholarships are awarded under one application. There are some there you might have to do a supplemental application. So it's good to just have those extra type of tidbits about yourself to put on a scholarship application.
Yeah, and we just started a new merit scholarship here. That's very exciting. So we have the YES scholarship here at MSUB. That's merit based on your high school GPA, and there's 3 different levels you can qualify for.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and at both city college and university levels. So whether you're going to attend city college or whether you're going to attend the university.
All right, things are starting to get spicy, and I know you have already mentioned it's important to reach out if things change for a student. So if a student's financial situation changes mid-year, what should they do and how quickly should they do it?
So yeah, exactly. They should reach out to the financial aid office, and as soon as possible. It's always better for the financial aid office to know about the situation, so then we can start the process of documenting and trying to see what can be done. Now there are times where starting the process, they might ask for documentation that shows that what the situation has changed, how it has changed. Will it change again in the future? So while something might not be able to be done like immediately, having that information and knowing where to go from there, the financial aid office can work with the student and really decide what the best course of action is for the student. And it might be that we need to wait a month or two to make sure that the change is going to sustain, and that it actually is not just a loss of income for a week or stuff like that. But But always reach out to the financial aid office. We want to be a place where the student can reach out to us and feel comfortable reaching out to us, not scared to contact us because there's a change.
Right, yeah. So we can go ahead and dig in as we continue chatting away. Do you guys have any like emergency funds or things like that that students can lean on if something were to happen?
We do have an emergency fund. There's actually a crisis fund that's available, really specifically for those type of unforeseen emergencies. That's available on the website. Can also be accessed through, if you're already in school, your instructors can help you with that, or other mentors on campus can help with that.
This one's got some kick.
Yeah,
no,
this one's a
that's
little
great. I think that's like one thing that people do get stressed about is, okay, I can afford college at the start, but what if, that unforeseen life circumstance happens? And just getting a hold of you guys can really help alleviate some of that on the front end instead of panicking on the back half.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I have the spiciest question for you of all. If you had to explain scholarships or financial aid to a student in one sentence, but you could only use movie or television quotes, how would you explain it to them?
I would say by filling out your FAFSA and applying to scholarships, you're really shouting, "Show me the money."
There we go, yeah. Mine was you missed 100% of the shots here. It's so hard, I'm like losing it right now.
Yep, that would be one too.
From Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. Somebody said that first. I don't know. No, this one has, yeah. Perfect. Well, big thank you to Justin for braving the wings and breaking down the world of financial aid with us. If you have questions about scholarships, the FAFSA, or anything in between, financial aid and scholarships is here to help. You can reach them by emailing, I hope this is correct, please correct me if not, finaid at msubillings.edu, giving them a call at 406-657-2188, or stopping by their office on the first floor of McMullen Hall, or Jack and Student Central at City College. No questions too small, and no wings too spicy for this team. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.